A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court by Mark Twain, Chapter 26, Part 2, The First Newspaper. I dropped a nickel out of the window and got my paper. The Adam newsboy of the world went around the corner to get my change, is around the corner yet. It was delicious to see a newspaper again, yet I was conscious of a secret shock when my eye fell upon the first batch of display headlines. I had lived in a clammy atmosphere of reverence, respect, deference so long that they sent a quivery little cold wave through me. High times in the Valley of Holiness. The water works corked, Br'er Merlin works his arts, but gets left, but the boss scores on his first innings. The miraculous well uncorked amid awful outbursts of infernal fire and smoke and thunder. The buzzard roost, astonished, unparalleled, rejoicings. And so on, and so on. Yes, it was too loud. Once I could have enjoyed it and seen nothing out of the way about it, but now its note was discordant. It was good Arkansas journalism, but this was not Arkansas. Moreover, the next to the last line was calculated to give offense to the hermits and perhaps lose us their advertising. Indeed, there was too lightsome a tone of flippancy all through the paper. It was plain I had undergone a considerable change without noticing it. I found myself unpleasantly affected by pert little irreverencies which would have seemed but proper and airy graces of speech at an earlier period of my life. There was an abundance of the following breed of items, and they discomforted me. Local smoke and cinders. Sir Launcelot met up with old King Agrivance of Ireland unexpectedly last week over the moor south of Sir Balmoral le Merveilleuse's hog dasture. The widow has been notified. Expedition number 3 will start a doubt the 1st of next month on a search Ater Sir Sagramore le Desirous. It is in command of the renowned King of the Red Lawns, assisted by Sir Persant of Indy, who is competent, intelligent, courteous, and in every way a brick, and further assisted by Sir Palamedes de Saracen, who is no huckleberry himself. This is no picnic. These boys mean business. The readers of the Hosanna will regret to learn that the handsome and popular Sir Charolais of Gaul, who, during his 4 weeks' stay at the Bull and Halibut, this city has won every heart by his polished manners and elegant conversation, will pull out today for home. Give us another call, Charlie. The business of the funeral of the late Sir Daladance, the Duke's son of Cornwall, killed in an encounter with the giant of the knotted bludgeon last Tuesday on the borders of the Plain of Enchantment, was in the hands of the ever affable and efficient Mumble, Prince of Undertakers, than whom there exists none, by whom it were a more satisfying pleasure to have the last sad offices performed. Give him a trial. The cordial thanks of the Hosanna office are due from editor down to devil to the ever-courteous and thoughtful Lord High Steward of the palace's third assistant, for several sauces of ice cream, a quality calculated to make the eye of the recipients humid with gratitude, and it done it. When this administration wants to chalk up a desirable name for early promotion, the Hosanna would like a chance to suggest. The Demoiselle Irene Develop of South Astolat is inviting her uncle, the popular host of the Cattleman's Boarding Horse Liver Lane, this city. Young Barker, the bellows mender, is home again and looks much improved by his vacation roundup among the outlying smithies. See his ad. I tried to read all of the typos as well and try to make sense of them. So I'm sorry if it didn't. Of course, it was good enough journalism for a beginning. I knew that quite well, and yet it was somehow disappointing. The court circular pleased me better. Indeed, its simple and dignified respectfulness was a distinct refreshment to me after all those disgraceful familiarities. But even it could have been improved. Do what one may, there is no getting an air of variety into a court circular. I acknowledge that. There is a profound monotonousness about its facts that baffles and defeats one's sincerest efforts to make them sparkle and enthuse. The best way to manage, in fact, the only sensible way, is to disguise repetitiousness of fact under variety of form. Skin your fact each time and lay on a new cuticle of words. It deceives the eye. You think it is a new fact. It gives you the idea that the court is carrying on like everything. This excites you, and you drain the whole column with a good appetite and perhaps never notice that it's a barrel of soup made out of a single bean. Clarence's way was good. It was simple, it was dignified, it was direct and businesslike. All I say is, it was not the best way. However, take the paper by and large, I was vastly pleased with it. Little crudities of a mechanical sort were observable here and there, but there were not enough of them to amount to anything, and it was good enough Arkansas proofreading anyhow, and better than was needed in Arthur's day and realm. As a rule, the grammar was leaky and the construction more or less lame, but I did not much mind these things. They are common defects of my own, and one mustn't criticize other people on grounds where he can't stand perpendicular himself. I was hungry enough for literature to want to take down the whole paper at this one meal, but I got only a few bites and then had to postpone, because the monks around me besieged me so with eager questions. What is this curious thing? What is it for? Is it a handkerchief, saddle blanket, part of a shirt? What is it made of? How thin it is, and how dainty and frail, and how it rattles. Will it wear, do you think, and won't the rain injure it? Is it writing that appears on it, or is it only ornamentation? They suspected it was writing, because those among them who knew how to read Latin and had a smattering of Greek recognized some of the letters, but they could make nothing out of the result as a whole. I put my information in the simplest form I could. It is a public journal. I will explain what that is another time. It is not cloth. It is made of paper. Sometime I will explain what paper is. The lines on it are reading matter, and not written by hand, but printed. By and by I will explain what printing is. 1,000 of these sheets have been made, all exactly like this, in every minute detail. They can't be told apart. Then they all broke out with exclamations of surprise and admiration. 1,000! Verily a mighty work, a year's work for many men. No, merely a day's work for a man and a boy. They crossed themselves and whiffed out a protective prayer or two. A miracle, a wonder, dark work of enchantment. I let it go at that. Then I read in a low voice, to as many as could crowd their shaven heads within hearing distance, part of the account of the miracle of the restoration of the well, and was accompanied by astonished and reverent ejaculations, and through, "Ah, how true! Amazing! Amazing! These be the very haps as they happen in marvellous exactness." And might they take this strange thing in their hands, and feel of it, and examine it, they would be very careful. Yes, so they took it, handling it as cautiously and devoutly as if it had been some holy thing come from some supernatural region, and gently felt of its texture, caressed its pleasant smooth surface with lingering touch, and scanned the mysterious characters with fascinated eyes. These grouped bent heads, these charmed faces, these speaking eyes, how beautiful to me! For was not this, my darling, and was not all this mute wonder and interest and homage a most eloquent tribute and unforced compliment to it? I knew then how a mother feels when women, whether strangers or friends, take her new baby and close themselves about it with one eager impulse, and bend their heads over it in a tranced adoration that makes all the rest of the universe vanish out of their consciousness, as be if it were not for that time. I knew how she feels, and that there is no other satisfied ambition, whether of king, conqueror, or poet, that ever reaches halfway to that serene far summit, or yields half so divine a contentment. During all the rest of the séance, my paper travelled from group to group, all up and down and about that huge hall, and my happy eye was upon it always, and I sat motionless, steeped in satisfaction, drunk with enjoyment. Yes, this was heaven. I was tasting it once, if I might never taste it more. So, that was chapter 26. Bye-bye till next time with chapter 27.